Welcome, folks, to CryptoNews Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka, and I can't go any further without expressing my deep condolences to all the families and the Filipino community as a SUV rams into a Vancouver street festival, Filipino street festival, last night. Apparently, this individual had previous instances where he's had to deal with police, and he's also had to deal with mental health issues. My thoughts and prayers are with the whole community. It seems like the NDP leader Jagdeep Singh had just left when this happened. And of course, this is on the footsteps of tomorrow's historic vote in Canada, where they are trying to oust the incumbent Liberals that have been there for over 10 years and have effectively become the laughingstock of the world with Justin Trudeau and now his successor, who I call Trudeau Sr. His name is Mark Carney. So that vote goes tomorrow. On today's show, we're also going to talk about Bitcoin, which is eyeing 100,000. And can it be closer than we expect, folks? I think so. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is April 27th, 2025. And as mentioned, a brutal attack by a sole person running a Audi SUV through a crowd of people in Vancouver today. 11 people have been killed and multiple others injured after a driver of a black SUV slammed into a crowd Saturday evening at a street festival in Vancouver celebrating the contributions of the Filipino-Canadian community, police say. It happened shortly after 8 p.m. as the Lapu-Lapu Day block party was winding down after drawing up to 100,000 people throughout the day. Now, I have lots of Filipino friends, certainly where I grew up and where I live now. Very, very multicultural environment. And every Filipino I've ever come across has been the nicest, smiling person. I work with a great Filipino guy right now, and again, he's exactly the same. Always a smile, always laughing. Humorous, handsome, big smile. I've had lots of exposure to the Filipino community. I have a friend that I used to work with, and he was a divorced guy, a Jewish guy. Again, tall, handsome guy. And from that point on, from his divorce forward, he said, I am only going to go out with Filipino girls. And he had a Filipino girlfriend at the time. And he swore he would only go out with Filipino girls because they're always happy. So, heartbroken. I can't imagine how those people feel over in Vancouver. But my thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the victims and, the whole Filipino community. They were only out to have a good time. It's insane how these things happen. I mean, mental health issues, folks, and they talk about how government has nothing to do with any of these things, but sadly, the mental health issues that have been going about, certainly in the young community, and has a lot to do with the really the outlook of the whole community, the outlook of the entire country, and really the world right now as we speak. Governance should be out of the way. Government should be like a referee in a sporting event. When you don't see the referee, that's when a good game is called. When people start freaking out and, yelling at the ref, this is what shouldn't be happening. So it's the same thing with government. If government's working well and smoothly, things go smooth. When people start yelling at the government, then they're doing something wrong. So this liberal government in Canada has been in power for 10 years. And now, as mentioned, Trudeau Sr. is trying to run. But from what I've seen, at least online, the mainstream media says that the Liberals are going to win this thing by about 3 or 4% right now, as of today. But when I look online and when I see these rallies that the conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, has, we're talking like a sea of people. And everybody I've talked to in Canada says, oh, no, we're voting conservative. So I think it's another sham like we saw in the States where everybody was saying, Kamala's going to win. They had her ahead in the polls. And then actually when the vote happened, which in this case in Canada is going to be tomorrow, Republicans stole the show. So let's hope the same thing happens up in Canada, or they are going to be losing a lot of their people due to brain drain. I've heard lots of people, professionals, are going to be leaving, both people that are still in school and people that are advanced in their careers. If this goes ahead and if the Liberals win, it'll almost feel like a fixed election. So let's hope that's not the case. I don't want to see rioting in the streets up there. But my thought is everything is going to go well for the people. This Poilievre gent is very much for the people. The other guy is a, central banker, elitist, I guess you could call them. Was in Britain for a bunch of years as their Fed chair, and then he's Canadian born, Canadian raised, Canadian educated, went to Britain, ruined their economy, and now he's going back to Canada to ruin theirs. So hopefully that doesn't happen. This Poilievre folk seems like a genuine, really good guy, endorsed by effectively everybody. I don't hear of anyone endorsing Carney, but yet the media still has him in the lead, and they are the epitome of the, when you see the lib news, the memes that you see in your feeds now, it's based on this liberal. They're actually called liberals in Canada. So let's hope it doesn't go that way. A bunch of good folks. I have great friends. So let's hope they get what they deserve, and that is a change and a good government that is for the people and not for the bureaucracy, as it has been for a whole bunch of years. Bitcoin, on the other hand, eyes $100,000. Could it be closer than we expect? It probably is. Let's check the charts and see what we've got. Down on this Sunday, 1.6%, 93,400 as we speak. Ethereum down 3.5%, 1775. Solana down 1.5%, $146. XRP up 2.5%, $2.24, and Doge down 2.5% to 17 cents. Going into the day view on Crypto Bubbles, we have about 60-40 mix with Baby Pingu, again, leading the pack, up 28% for the day. If we zoom out to the weekly, every single thing is in the green. Oh, baby Pengu surprising everybody. Holy smokes, up 145% for the month. Where did these guys come from? And they are up in their ranking, as we see on screen, 65. They've jumped 65 other coins, currently sitting at 84. Trump also for the month, 74% up. Virtual up 74%. That was for the week, pardon me, and for the month we've got Fartcoin up 130%. Pengu for the month is 97%. XCN up 87% for the month as well. Total hash rate as we speak has come down a bit, and the price is finally coming up to meet the hash rate. As we see, the Bitcoin price is in black. Let's check out the M2 global money supply, and this is going over 21 central banks globally, and we see that in the past little while there's been a huge jump January to February in the money printing globally. So we should see, as we have seen in the long-term chart here, the Bitcoin price follows very closely to the M2 money supply. We've talked about this quite a bit, and as we see here, so as the M2 money supply increases, and we do expect that there's going to be a lot of money printing very shortly, I also expect that the Bitcoin price trails behind generally about 60 days, will also follow that trend. Crypto market cap, the Bitcoin market cap right now is $1.88 trillion, Ethereum $216 billion, XRP $128 billion, Solana $78 billion, Doge $27 billion, Cardano $25 billion, $23 billion for Tron, and $11 billion for Sui. Total crypto market cap is $2.88 trillion, with Bitcoin holding 64.3% of that, Ethereum 7.4%, XRP 4.5%. Currently, in our crypto fear and greed index, we are at a 61 in greed. Yesterday we were 65 in greed. Last week we were 37 in fear. There are approximately 1,081 days left until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028, with 155,743 blocks left to mine until then. Total assets by market cap globally, we've got gold at $22.3 trillion, Apple at $3.1 trillion, Microsoft 2.9, Nvidia 2.7, Amazon 2 trillion, even Google 1.953 trillion, Bitcoin sitting in the number 7 spot, 1.855 trillion, right ahead of silver 1.854, Saudi Aramco 1.6 trillion, and Meta Facebook 1.3 trillion. You can currently get 1,069 satoshis for one fiat US dollar. And speaking of the US dollar, US national debt currently sits at 36 trillion 780 billion, equaling 107,477 per US citizen, or 323,049 per taxpayer. In the Doge Department of Government Efficiency Clock, we see that they have saved $367 billion to U.S. citizens. That is a savings per taxpayer of $3,270. Yeah. So, Bitcoin eyes 100K, as we were saying before. Let's see what the experts have to say. Over the past week, Bitcoin has experienced sustained gains, rising from a local low of 83,000 to 95,000. In fact, at press time, Bitcoin traded at 94,000, climbing 11.75% on a weekly chart. The recent price pump reflects strengthening upward momentum for the crypto. Looking at Bitcoin's MACD, it has surged from 137 to a year-to-date high of 28.14. An uptick of MACD indicates strong bullish momentum in the market, with significant price movement to the upside. Therefore, it implies that the current uptrend is likely to continue if the demand also rises or remains constant. Significantly, The market is experiencing considerable demand, with buyers highly active in the market. With a strong upward momentum, while buyers are dominant players, it positions Bitcoin for more gains on its price charts. What do Bitcoin charts suggest? According to AMB Crypto's analysis, Bitcoin is experiencing strong upward momentum. The prevailing market conditions position the crypto for more gains. For starters, Bitcoin is experiencing sustained bullish sentiments from all market participants. As such, these bullish participants are taking strategic positions in the market. We could see this market bullishness in multiple ways. Firstly, Bitcoin's fund market premium has turned positive to settle at 0.2. A positive fund premium suggests that investors, especially institutional ones, are experiencing enthusiasm and FOMO. Thus, there's significant demand for Bitcoin across the market, including in traditional finance. Additionally, other market players also bullish, as Bitcoin fund flow ratio has declined to hit a low of 0.078. This decline suggests increased holding behavior as investors preferred moving Bitcoin into cold storage and private wallets, a classic sign of long-term conviction. What's next? Bitcoin continues to attract strong demand, with investors entering at key strategic levels. If current momentum holds and demand remains robust, BTC could be positioned for a significant upward move. The next crucial target is 96,000, a level of importance, and it represents the entry price for short-term holders who have held Bitcoin for 3 to 6 months. Flipping 96,000 into support would likely pave the way for a rally beyond 100K. However, profit-taking by holders of recent gains, particularly those holding BTC for 1 to 3 months, might cause the price to consolidate between 88 and 94,000 again. Thus, reclaiming and converting the 96 mark into support remains vital for Bitcoin's next upward trajectory. I agree with that 100%. And let's hope we hit that mark over the next couple days. It makes me wonder if this, global event of the sad occurrence in Vancouver had anything to do with the price movement today. We're seeing it down a little bit. Folks, let's see how the vote goes tomorrow. I'm thinking if this Pierre Poilievre, I finally learned how to say their name, Pierre Poilievre, kind of rhymes actually, very nice. If they win, I expect the markets to also pump, because that's a big step. I know Canada's not a huge economy. I believe they're 9th in the world, but just the ideology behind what they've been enduring with these, woke government and media censorship is a far cry of what Canada used to be. So I think that's going to play, if we see this carny lib jackass win, I think the markets are going to tank. So let's hope that this Poilievre and the Conservatives win. What Canada's going to gain from that is a lot of things, and I feel like their economy is going to become very strong if this guy comes in. They're going to start. They're going to stop. This Liberal government in Canada is very much pushing the environmental wave, and the Conservatives want that too, but these guys are pushing it as their number one initiative, and the Liberals are gonna spend. They're gonna drive the country into bankruptcy. So let's hope that the Conservatives win for all my Canadian friends, and I have lots. Remember, everyone, money is abundant and money is everywhere. Time is what's scarce, so spend your time wisely. Spend less money than what you earn, and if you suddenly make more money, start saving more money. Don't start spending more money, and start saving and investing when you're young. ideally when you're in your teens or early 20s, and you can retire when you're 40 or 45. If you've got a great idea, start with your idea today. Don't wait, even if you're not ready. Hopefully, folks, you found this stream enjoyable and educational. If you did, please like, comment, and especially subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream. Folks, thanks so much for joining.